get your opening comments first from Harini and then from you, Antano. Harini, in your company, I know your turnover. That means you see a lot of patients. You have a great team. And I have no problem saying that I know them. I actually called Antano and Harini, you should apply. They're both under 40, but they don't think they can make it to the list, so they didn't apply. They got 8 of their colleagues to apply. So you should have confidence there. You shouldn't have confidence in each of you. But you see a lot of people, and they have an amazing team. Out of 8, a lot of them have won. And Luke told you how we run. Susie G is there. You can ask her how we run the jury process. And so they see a lot of patients, and their team is amazing. How many of them face what they face because of sleep deprivation, because of the quality of sleep, because sleep leads to problems in relationships, in vitality, in making the right decision. If you don't sleep well, you munch on food, So give a sense of the number of people you see. Sleep seems, though they have a special vertical for sleep. And have you got people of apnea? There's a lot of sleep patients have apnea issues, right? Harini, tell us a bit about that.
Sleep is definitely one of the things that has come in the way of wellness and well-being for a lot of people. And the ones that don't sleep well is most of the time, there are several things surrounding sleep that may not be in order for them. It could be their relationships, it could be something about their career, or it could just be a bad habit that they've developed, or the mind is sort of seeking some sort of satiation, is not really satisfied at the end of the day, and or there might be something that's going on, and that's playing in the back of the mind. These are some of the things that come in the way of people sleeping really well. So in all of the work that we do, we're looking at every aspect of a person's life, whether it's their business or career, their health, their family, and their deeper calling from within, like what's the kind of legacy they want to create. And we look at fixing and capability development across all areas, and definitely sleep is one of the very
I'll come to what are the tips you do. Just to give you a perspective, I think Harini and Antano, Mr. Antano Solar John, that's his full name, can tell you about what they do, but I'll tell you what I understand you do. I figured out now after a long time that what you do. But I'll tell you, as I told you, I called Jwalanji one day and he started Happy Ho, and I said, I'm having some emotional issue. I mean, I'm a regular person. May not come across, but I am. And he said, oh, why don't you go and see Antano? Oh, and then I asked, he charges, I think at that time, 1 lakh rupees for a 40-minute session. I said, really? He said, yeah. So he gave me a discount, 25,000 rupees, I think, or 20,000 rupees. And I met him in a dark room here, not far off behind Hanuman Mandir. He was staying in a guest house. I came up to you and we spent time. And then did that session with him in Bombay at the Lalit, right? You may have forgotten, but I haven't. So they're on a company called A&H, Antano and Harini. That's very self-effacing, but they call it an installation company. So they have sleep experts, they have relationship experts, they have diabetes experts, they are very bright people. All 8 who applied, they were rock stars, right? And now the jury process is over, so I'm not prejudicing anyone, right? And so they built a very large business and they want to impact a very large number. So they started in NLP. That was the base of what they started in. And Antano's personal story is that he was in an IT company and he wanted to be a musician and he couldn't sing well. So now he can sing well, and I'm going to ask him to sing a little bit at the end. But that's his story. And then Harini trained him, and she's a great singer too, right? And so they help people become the best version of themselves. And that sounds like a cliche, but it's not a cliche. They do help, and they're very deep in what they do, and that they will build a very large company and a very large impact doing what they do. So that's their background. So Antano, apart from sleep, what are the other issues people are facing? So if your team is looking at, say, 1,000 people in a month, what are the kind of issues people are facing? Give a sense of that.
Okay, so the nature of my personal work is to do the work that I haven't done before. And the nature of the work for my team is to scale the work that we've already done. So the first time I came across, when I was still a chief technology officer, the way all this started is because somebody in the US heard about me, and I was not even in this field, I'm a programmer. But he heard about me and he said, I met with a car accident, I'm an IIT graduate, my world has gone upside down. Can you do something? Can you help me get back my work? And I'm like, this is the most unusual and crazy request I can get. But then what
Other is me growing my hair. Antano, can you help me grow my hair?
That's actually easier than paralysis. No, because your cells are still intact, right? With paralysis, what happens is the nerve is cut. So one of the core values for me is even if I can't help someone, I'll always find someone who can do that. So given my background as a chief technology officer and the connections I had, I reached out to everybody in the world. I reached out to Deepak Chopra. I got everybody's email ID. I wrote to them. I said, there's this guy and he needs a solution. His life has come upside down in a moment. Can you help? And then graciously, Dr. John Grinder, the creator of NLP, he said, if you will help him, I will mentor you. And this has been
He's the creator of NLP, neuralistic programming, right?
Yes. And this has been the journey so far. First, it was paralysis, then it was divorce, then it was suicide.
Do you help people get divorced? Or
both?
Okay.
You won't believe how many people kill themselves because they can't get divorced. Yeah. And then it is autoimmune, now cancer pain. I mean, recently, Harini and I decided we're scaling up a business. Let's focus on what we already do, which is, so many things, as well as helping people launch a legacy. And then somebody out of the blue knocks and says, my father's on morphine, cancer, pain, can you do something? And I'm like, if I take my attention to help him, I'm taking away attention from my business, but we did it. We helped him get over the pain from cancer. And now that has become a new niche that an entrepreneur can disruptively help people who have cancer to get over the pain.
There's so many women who are medically fit, but they're unable to conceive despite, so many efforts, including IVFs, which have failed for they've had miscarriages.
And what is the reason? Because you've been doing this for at least 8 years that I know of. What is your diagnosis why this happens? You can't generalize. Everyone has their unique, reasons and, conditions. But how they use the important term called installation. So explain the concept of installations.
Okay, so let us say there are 1,000 different reasons.
Yeah, first time I met him, I thought he was a management consultant. He kept talking to me about jargon, installation. I said, Antano, cut to the chase. You need to help me in this. I can bullshit you on this bigger than you.
So I put him to sleep and did the rest of the work.
First of the time I met him, I told him, I have a rule that I follow. And that's why I never bullshit you, Dr. Mickey Mehta. Never bullshit a bigger bullshitter. Right? So I told him, don't get to the chase. Tell me, man, I've come to you for this. Right? So, Susie ji, I seeked all kind of things in that phase. I met you.
You remember the work we did, Annurag? Actually, you were sleeping when I was working with you.
Yes, I went to sleep. It's amazing. Of course, I believe in, and I really benefited from what he did. And so tell us about installation.
So Annurag, so when someone is not able to conceive, there could be 1,000 reasons. And I'm not exaggerating it, 1,000 reasons. The problem with the approach today in various modalities, they try to oversimplify it and say it's reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. So this happens within conceiving, right? The body wants to do something, and then the rest of the system is doing something else. Noise. A lot of people don't conceive because there's noise. Noise in hormones, noise in mental abilities. So how do you teach the people to focus on what matters, even when there is noise? That's installations. That's part of installations. Is how can you quickly identify out of the 1,000 things, the few things that matter and fix it? People have noise that they need to shut down and teach their body the right hormonal balance, the right way to focus, the right relationship to have. And for different people, it's different noise. How do you identify and insulate? That's installations. Because there could be 1,000 different things. And if you can be precise about this is what is stopping this person from conceiving, then you can fix it. So it's more the diagnostics than the work.
That's personalized predictive intelligence.
Personalized predictive intelligence.
As to what has to happen for this person to get the outcome.
So for over the next 12 to 24, 30 months, what is A&H installations, kind of goal? How many people do you want to impact? What is the size of your team right now?
We are going to impact 20 million people. So we have 20 incubated businesses, and each of them are impacting 1 million people. That's the vision. So just IVF, for example, the alternate to IVF, IVF is $1 trillion business. There's a single hospital in Australia that makes $1 billion in revenue. That's how much people want to conceive and they're not able to. And excellence installations has gotten 3 times more success rate, no hormonal challenges,
Had over
peaceful.
95% success.
That's
with
one
people
industry.
that
I must invest with you guys.
You must.
Yes, I want to rob a bank tomorrow. Tell me just which one has money. But on the serious note, I believe in you guys. And hopefully, whatever joke I'm cracking, I may follow through on that. But coming back, what can individuals do? And I don't know astrology, but I know a bit about because so I meet people and say I'm an astrologer. Show me their hand. So I look at their hand and tell them, oh, 3 things I tell them. First, you're not doing as well as you should have done. And most people
That's called
believe
goal
that.
reading.
They
That's not
believe that they
astrology.
can do better than. So the serious question there is, how can people become the best version? How can they realize? Second is, I tell them, you have stomach issues. So most people have gut issues. Most, I'm not, people eat out, eat on. Third, I tell them, you're having some relationship issues. And a lot of people seem to be having relationship. So some people then actually tell me, oh, you got all 3 right. Tell me more. But how can one fix the issue of punching below your weight, achieving your potential personally and professionally? Second is your health, and gut health is a very important part of it. And third is fixing your relationship. Between these 3, it covers everything.
Integrated life outcomes, Annurag.
How?
So the problem is people today go to specialists to fix special things. If you have a gut problem, go to somebody. If you have a relationship problem, go to somebody. But you got to build a car in a factory. You have to. That's why back then, even in the medicine field, you used to have generalists. You walk into the clinic and they have a guess of what's wrong with you. Today, you go to a super specialist, they do 100 scans and it takes forever to find out.
Well, how did you disappear? You made this car disappear of Blossom Coaches. She was coming to meet you and her car disappeared. How did you do that?
Making a car disappear is simpler than making memories disappear from a person's body and mind. Excellence installations can do that too.
On a serious note, again, at the price point that you're priced, it makes it unaffordable for a lot of people to do that.
So, Annurag, we charge, say, anywhere between 10 to 20 lakhs. But that's really dependent on how big is the legacy vision. We charge so much for legacy. You want to create your legacy. What's the value you're willing to put on your legacy?
Some people are too young to think about their legacy.
No. We've had people who are 16 years old who are trying to create their legacy. I have a college dropout who's impacting so many people.
Go and have fun. Eat ice cream, go to McDonald's, play games.
Integrated life outcomes, you're still doing that. You don't need to compromise on any aspect of your life to create a legacy, and you don't need 40 years. You can time compress it to 2-3 years.
Okay, this question to both of you. See, you got lots of successful cases. Tell us about 1 or 2 cases where you were unsuccessful and that made you think about what you do.
Okay, so the biggest challenge we had, Annurag, is one guy who came for alcoholic problem. Okay, so we worked with so many alcoholics, but this guy taught us something about our business and it changed everything for us. So we used to charge back then. So we used to charge lots for legacy, but simple things like addictions, we used to charge thousands of rupees, like 1,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees. And this guy paid 4,000 rupees for quitting over alcohol. And he was so upset that we're charging 4,000. And I couldn't understand. Hey, you
could buy 4 bottles in 4,000 rupees.
Yeah, and he's like, how can you be upset for paying 4,000 to get over alcohol?
He thought it was less or more.
Pardon me?
He thought it was a humongous price.
It was a humongous
4,000
4,000.
Years back then, about 8 years.
So that's when we realized that an alcoholic may not know what we know about them. That the moment they stop, their life will change, their income will change, their relationships will change. So Harini and I initially started out thinking we were going to create an army of NLP practitioners because we saw this works and we trained 100 people, they could do change work. But then what we realized is people sometimes lack wisdom. Like we stopped being a genie and we said we'll be an angel, which is you can tell a genie, make an earthquake over here, it'll make an earthquake here, but is it good for that person? I had a guy who came and asked me to help him stop procrastinating. And if I did that,
Procrastinating.
he was procrastinating and he asked me, can you do some magic or NLP magic? He did a lot. And he said, can you do your NLP magic and help me stop procrastinating? I said, yes, but you might have a heart attack.
Harini, I know you've coached him because I've talked to you guys many times and got him to sing. When what you did, together did and what you did to him kind of brought his ambition, his dream of singing. I mean, that was what got him to do what he did, apart from the story with someone. So tell me, what did you discover doing this with him?
It was relatively easier to do this with Antano than other people, because I've noticed Antano is inherently driven, and we function from the base that any human can learn anything. If you have the right set of capabilities that will help you learn fast, it makes it easier. So with Antano, fortunately, he was already trained on NLP modeling, which is the art of getting into a know-nothing state. And if there's a genius in front of you or anybody who's really good at anything, how can you just be in their presence and do such a powerful second position with them in a way that you can feel in your body what they are feeling? And I just had to go and do more and more of my art. I had to just create a context where I was performing and he was around, and then later give a context where we could do this together more often.
Thank you, Harini. I just want to let you go by asking, how do you equip yourself for the future? How do you constantly fill your own glass? How do you keep pace with what's happening? Especially we're talking of wellness in a digital era. So how do you make sure you stay ahead of others, you stay ahead of yourself, you stay out of the new addictions that are coming? How do you prepare yourself for the future so that you're equipped to help your patients?
So, Annurag, I think no matter where you reach in your life, there's always another bar of excellence. And that's what excellence really means, because once you've reached that bar, it's become your average now. And I think everybody in their lifetime, in about 10 to 15 years, go from one bar of excellence to another. Our job for people is to time compress that from 15 years to 2-3 years. And we kind of do the same thing for ourselves. We are always looking at how can we evolve ourselves to the next level of excellence. And more importantly, one of the methods we use is called rarity completion. We call it as rarity completion. So it's like let's say you have like a semicircle, and you know that if this puzzle of the piece fits in, it's going to take everything you have 10 times more. So how do you strategically identify what completes and enhances your rarity? So it builds into your strength, but adds on exponentially.
So our approach is identifying what set of capabilities will help complete rarity in a way that if they can create this much impact, now they can create this much impact because we've helped complete their rarity. With rapid skill development, like a CXO has spent 40 years to get to where he has. But let's say he wants to create 10x more impact, he needs a different set of capabilities in addition to what he already has. He can't take another 40 years to get there. Our job is to reverse engineer and identify what set of capabilities, and fortunately, we have the technology to rapidly create capabilities in people, and it's different for different people. And that's where the predictive intelligence piece comes in. Because the capability development for a 14-year-old is different from somebody who's a CXO, is different from somebody who wants to impact 1 million lives doing something very specific. And each one's life experiences have been so unique. So where do you spend your time and how do you evolve is the consultative piece of excellence installation, and we have the technology to make it.
Thank you so much. You're great talent, you're great partners, entrepreneurs as you call them, or preneurs as I call them. So congratulations, Antano and Harini. I know we'll see more of you. I promise you, you'll see a lot of Antano and Harini in the future and A&H. I promise you. So congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.